This is Justin AMZN on Wednesday, October 3rd, 2018. And I'll start out with a question. So we had a sell-off from our line at 2025.57 down, skipping a line all the way down here into 2005. And then we had a sell-off, I'm ignoring this, had a sell-off from our next line of 2013 down two lines all the way into 1972.50. And now as we come on up in here this morning, where could we move up to and sell off to? Just with that, skip a line, even if you skipped a line and you didn't grab that, from a line to another line that we got on here. I'm thinking 1990, definitely past 1972.50. And I don't remember where we've got the next line. It might be 1925. I think there was some space there. It's a long ways to go, but that's the next line. Or we had talked about the price 1944 that I never put a line on. And I think we're bouncing around, I want to say around like 1955 a little bit, but again, didn't have a line in there. Or just a nice round number, like 1950. I mean, if you go into it today with that mindset of, hey, we're just kind of selling off every day, let's find a good place to sell off from and get some puts. That would have worked today. Would have worked because we came really close to hitting 1990, not once, with a high of 1989.70. And it was actually twice, the second one being 1989.64. We had a squeeze forming. We consolidated into some small candles after getting up to that high. And from here, we just kind of dropped. And we dropped and didn't even stop at 1972.50. We came all the way down to 1950. Again, don't have a line there. The next line on the daily is the 1925. The 21 exponential, probably you'd be looking at, that was at, yesterday was at 1962.25, so that would have been a good target. But, oops. Yeah, that was the move. That was the move to catch. And then the rest of the day just did this chopping around, up and down and up and down and up and down until it finally just kind of settled around 1955, low 1950s. That was the day. It's like that was the move. But there were all these other times that you could have been getting into some puts or getting some calls, something like that. So let's look at this, or at least getting in at 1990 with puts. And then I want to show you this too. So looking at calls, if you knew, hey, 1990 is a good place that would be a good resistance, just get in right here. Even though it is before 10:30 and before 11, I mean, that's what's great about today is, we were going the other direction in the morning yesterday than today, and we were actually reversing down here and then reversing again at 11. So 11 o'clock was still the time to sell off ever so slightly, but still sold off there, sold off here massively, go back. It was about 11 o'clock that we were selling off, starting to sell off, from up here. So 11 o'clock has been a price that we've sold from. Even here, I mean, I'd count this. You're selling from 11 way down here. So every day we've been selling off at 11 the last 4 days, and today included. Let's go back one more day. What were we doing the day before that? Sorry, that's the mouse rolling a bunch. All right. So we didn't do it on 9/27, which was Thursday, right? And then 9/28 was Friday. Yeah, Thursday, Friday. So we didn't Thursday, but Friday we sold off from 11 p.m. Monday we sold off from 11 p.m. a.m. 11 a.m. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday we've sold off from 11 a.m. in some form or fashion. So good to know now, but I mean, you could have picked it up after maybe 2 days. So that would have helped you with the setup like up here yesterday. It would have helped with the setup right here today. I mean, this stuff just, it moves in patterns. Sometimes you need the pattern to show up twice before you say, hey, what if it does it again? It gives you an edge. And you stack those edges in your favor and take the trade. So this, get in. It's at a resistance. We've been selling off from resistances. Even this one here, this was not holding as a resistance. It was pretty clear because we pushed past it, chopping around on it. You know, this one we weren't holding against. This one we held. Even, this is what's crazy. I'll show you the option price. This held, and you could have gotten a better option price than the puts way up here. So let's look at the timestamp on the puts. The lows on the puts, the highs in here, this first 5 minute and the third 5 minute, those were, no, sorry, it was the second and the fourth. The second and the fourth. So the second one came down to a low of 14.15. The fourth one came down to a low of 13.70. So if that's where you're going to set up your trade, like let's say the first one happened, you're thinking, oh, you know, I missed it. It didn't get into there. I'm going to get a trade set up. It'll pull back a little bit more. I'll do it at 14 if we get to the 1990 price. Okay, 14 filled here, or would have filled here, or would have filled here, or would have filled here. And if you're doing a dollar stop, the low here was 13.30. And if you got in at 14 here, you're down, you know, you're 0.7 R down right now, waiting to see, is it going to bounce? Is the option going to bounce? Is this breakdown actually going to happen in here? And it does. You didn't know it was going to, but by getting in here, you were just trusting the lines in the chart that they were going to hold again. And that's your edge. There's the calls. So if you got in at 7, and stop at 6, I'm sorry, stop at a entry at 14 and a stop at 13, then could have just held that to this high right here. Could have held it for, you know, a few more ticks higher in this, a couple more 5 minutes. But from 14 to 24, I mean, that's 10 R. And it still went up to 30. It more than doubled, went from 14 to over 28. That's a double on the option. Even if you'd been looking for an entry or an exit at this line, that was 945. 945 price was this candle. Does that make sense? Get out at 20. It's near this line. So 14 to 20, that's 6R, done for the day. Missed that. It happens. It's all right. But then if you were getting out at 20, we didn't even get back into that line. Didn't even get back into this 1972.50 price. But our option right here, right at 11 o'clock, right at 11 o'clock, pulled back to almost 20, where you had gotten out earlier at the 945 candle. Could have gotten back in at the same price and taken that up to 26. You know, you saw it go up there from here. 20. Let's say you got in at 20, or it actually ticked at 20. You would have gone 20 to 26, right back to where this price was. Or maybe didn't get filled at 20. Maybe it was 20.50. Maybe it was 21. Stop at 20, and it's only 5R there. So that's 6R on this one, 5R on this one. Hey, let's do it again. 5R on this one. Not sure if it will work again. And then same thing on the calls. So the calls, they came down, put a low around 10, around $1,000. Went from 10 to 12 easily, maybe even 14. Nope, didn't get up to 14 again. So this is one you would have been doing, okay, 10 to 12 or maybe 13, 10 to 13, 10 to 13, 10 to 13. Oh, that didn't work. Oh, I'm stopped out or trailed out. So multiple times, same setup, same trade, same option. You know, if you're doing that, you got to be careful with wash sale because you're repeating it. Just be profitable on it. And if you're profitable by so much, it's not going to matter if you lose the last one, you're done doing it. But you're profitable on it. So, and you can always mix it up with a different option. Just be careful with these if you're going to do that, because then you start to look for a different price. I mean, that's what I really like about this is just like you're trading a stock, you're looking for a certain price, certain level, certain activity to happen. You know, if you go switching, the option moves a little different. Even the next one, like 19, well, it's not the next one, but if you looked at the 1970 call for today, it's going to move a little bit different. It's going to have a different price. If it'll load, just got stuck. Well, that's unfortunate. Okay, there we go. So that had a little bit wider range. See, have you tried to do 1,000 or 1,200 by 11? Maybe it would have felt a little tight. Maybe that worked. So 12 by 11. You know, this one would not have suggested it because it got through down to 1075. So then you're looking, okay, what's, you know, so maybe when I stops at 1050, I want to get in at 1150. Well, that might have worked here. Wouldn't have worked here. So, you know, doing the same setup, I really like the round numbers, you know, something that ends in zeros, something like that. But anyway, could have possibly done, like, let's just say 12 by 11, and that worked. 12 by 11 right up to 15. That's a good setup. 12 by 11 right up to 15. That worked. 12 by 11. Okay, it didn't work this time. Not up to 15 at least. But when it gets up here, then you're moving your stop up, because you could have these other times once it got above a certain value, you know. So it moves a little different. Everything moves a little different. So get familiar with this. Figure out what option you want to actually be trading. These were in the money puts when it was happening, and the calls were obviously out of the money. Let's see, what put was I looking at? The 1975 put. Now, if you go look at the 1950 put and look for those lows, you know, now you got this wick up here getting into the 10 range, and then you come back down to the 10, down to the 10, down almost to the 10. So that may have worked out better. You're out of the money by a few bucks, and it went from 10 to 14, 10 to 14, almost 10 to 14. That may have been a little bit better of a setup, you know. And the 1950 is the price you actually touched today. So, you know, it's possible it does get back down to that, but it just decided to hover up a little bit higher. So anyway, this was a good day to see how options move. A really good day to see how options move. I can saw another triangle, a breakdown, a retest that actually looks like a double bottom, and people, I'm sure we're going bullish right here, thinking that's your neckline, you know, just not recognizing that the resistance you've got here is yesterday's close. All these people being profitable, you know, being more profitable here, they're loading back up or getting back in. If they were getting out here, loading back up here or here or here or here, you know, you're right into yesterday's low of the day. So, you know, you see that there's that resistance there. So not a line we've drawn in, but 1968 is a good price to have some resistance there. And I mean, look at this candle. Even if you didn't know that there was some resistance there, look at that candle. Look at this as just the location of this. You got, you know, all these prices that are really close. Your doji here kind of gets into all of them. Gets into this high, this. Not the high, the bodies of this one. But it reverses. Could have gotten into that. Just that move. That would have been what? 3R, 4R. What was it? Was this one? The indecision one? 12.15? 12.15. Yeah. Been at that price before. Get in for 10. Stop at 9. Ride it on up. Get out at, you can just get out at 13. That's 3R. That move alone, 3R. I mean, that'll help your month out. So anyway, a lot of good places to have this set up. So last 4 days we've been bearish. That's kind of the most we've done for a while. 4 here sideways, 4 here with some, you know, gaps. This was a bullish gap and go that sold off. 4 here. Go back further. There you go. 5 here. Might have a day like that. Tomorrow could be another selling day. But it's been a while since we've had 5 bearish days in a row. Here's another 4. It's been a while. He said, yeah, it's 4. Most of the times we'll sell 4 days and have some bullishness. So, especially I want to say, hey, it's going bearish again. You know, we have gone bearish. We've had a pretty good move here. If we come down to this line, so now I don't have any more lines in here in between. So tomorrow, I would kind of want it to come up to 1972.50. That's our next line above where we're at. Let's see if we can rally like this. Have the same sort of S curve back up. 1972.50. It's going to be trapping anybody bearish here. It may want to go higher. It could get above a little bit. And then come into 1975 or something and roll over. It's possible if it's another bearish day. And then go down to 1925. So that'd be a move of $50 from 1975 down to 1925. Could totally happen tomorrow. We've been sideways for a while. This is an amazing distribution up here. All-time high, stone's throw away from it just 3 days ago. You know, it's not like this is it. We're selling off from the all-time high and we're never going to be up here again. No, this is consolidation. If we get a pullback down into 1925, that's a good place to buy. We spiked down here, had this selling. We should really hold this 1925. I mean, that's a really good level right here. We wicked down a number of times below that. Had a close below it here, close below it here. Just 2. If we have another bearish day, then I think we bounce off of 1925. If we gap up and start to move up and have a bullish day, I mean, we could just kind of sit and consolidate here a little bit longer, maybe just chop around on these lines, which would be great because we have all the lines drawn in. We should have a good pattern matchup of how it's going to move against the lines we've got. So hope you're tracking these lines. You've got them in your own charts. You can look back at the videos. I've set these, you know, some of these lines came in a couple weeks ago that are playing out amazingly. A friend asked how this was all going. I'm like, this is like a 10 out of 10. Like the way that the charts are working out is amazing. Be able to do the videos to show you after the fact, yes, but to walk through, hey, if you've got this line and it's a resistance, like yesterday, you go back and watch the video. The day before, consolidation right here. Amazing how tight it got, a penny off. I'm still amazed at that one. October 1st, I mean, that was a new level of how good these charts are working out for the actual stock movement. So that's where I feel like we've got this. This is like spot on how it's moving. This is a 10 out of 10. We're a great analysis, and just hope we're all making some money off of this because it's working the way that I want to say we're predicting. It's working out right out there according to the framework. Got the framework drawn in. Didn't quite get there exactly today. You know, a little bit off. You know, I still say, hey, that's still a 10 out of 10 kind of day. You know, so I don't have some lines down in here. If you want to draw one in, throw one in at 1950. The way we came down and hit that today, 1949.81. Amazing. Just got through it. Nice round number. Just got through it a little bit, and look for the strikes that are. I looked up the 1970 just to show, hey, it moves a little different. It's Wednesday. Tomorrow's Thursday. You could be, maybe 10, 20 strikes out of the money, possibly 25, and just stick with the 25 strikes. Set those up as your targets too. So set up a target at 1975, a target then, if it sells off at 1950, then 1925, something like that. I think Stick with some of the round numbers earlier in the week helps, and then you got to be much more nimble by later on Thursday and Friday because it can just move a little more or move a little bit less, and you got all the premium sucked out of the options that you picked that were too far out of the money. So we'll get better at that. We'll continue to look at it. There's one Friday a week, so we can pace ourselves learning it, understanding it, and get better along the way to do it. Hope you enjoyed this video, and please like it, subscribe. This is Just AMZN. Thanks.